please, please, please look at the 5 people that you spend most of your time with and ask yourself, are they helping me become a better person? No, but I'm Latino. ¿Saben qué es un Latino? Un gringo de sangre, latino de corazón. Ah, aplauso, no. Yeah. So I'm very, very passionate about Latino communities. I live in New York City. I have a branding, communications, and marketing agency. I am from the middle of America. I was a college football player. I ended up having to stop playing because I had 2 really, really big concussions. I was seeing like green everywhere. So that was kind of a scary moment in life, which turned out to be one of the best blessings in life because it opened my world up a lot. Moved to New York City where I got a law degree, and then I worked for Mike Bloomberg when he was the mayor of New York City. I was a speechwriter in the mayor's administration for 3 years. And decided that I really loved the power of words and communication and story. And I thought to myself, I have a lot of my own original ideas and I don't want to be limited to just politics. So what happens if I move to Silicon Valley and start my own company, helping other companies and organizations and creatives tell their story in an exciting way? And that's when I started my company 6 years ago. And we work with some of the biggest brands in the world, all the way down to small businesses, solo entrepreneurs. And I really am very passionate about every single one of us that are sitting here today, I think are remarkable. And I think that I look out and I see 60 people, I see 60 faces, I see 60 stories. But more than anything, what I see is I see 60 different individuals that have the capacity to come together to really change the world. And I know that's a phrase that gets thrown out there a lot, but I've seen the power of what happens when we work together. So I'm very, very passionate about that. I've written for Forbes Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, Huffington Post. I recently, in January, started an initiative that I'm very proud of called Uniendo las Americas, where I spent the first 5 months of 2018 all over Latin America, incluso Mexico, and looking for 2 of the best entrepreneurs in Latin America to bring them on an all-expense-paid trip to the Silicon Valley of California. We did that in September. I also invested in their companies. And so I'm very, very passionate about Latino communities. I learned Spanish in the Dominican Republic, and I've lived and worked in an orphanage with 125 kids. So every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I got a knock on my door. Raja, ¿quieres jugar? And I was like, what time is it? They say, son las 5 de la mañana. And I'm like, no, I don't want to work. Come back at 9. I don't want to play. Come back at 9. Okay. And I'm like, ya son las 9. No, son las 5:05, pero queremos jugar. So I have a very big heart for Latino communities, and I'm really excited to be here. I really am encouraging all of you to take a moment today and ask the question that's been on your mind. You all came here today for a reason, right? And we are here because the only reason that we're here, and it's an incredible event that Carlos and Ricardo and everyone has put together, the only reason we're all here is to help you. Like, that's it. So anything that we can do to help you, please, please, please. There are no dumb questions. There are no obvious questions. Please ask. So thank you for being here. Now, especially as we get more kind of egocentric in every part of life, was I kind no matter what happened? And I have massive ambition. So I'm not trying to sit up here being like, I just chill and smoke weed all day. And like, you know, like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, I'm just going to be kind to you, man. Like, I'm trying to achieve really big things. I'm trying to get to the 1 billion people. I'm trying to build a big company. I'm trying to do a lot of different things. But I think that no matter what, and I've seen this time and time again, I have 0 tolerance, 0 respect, and 0 acceptance of you being mean to another human being because you're having a bad day. And I see it all the time. And if you guys ever work for someone where that is the case, please try to find an exit strategy as fast as you can. And if you ever find yourselves in a position where you're leading people and something external affects you and you are now taking it out on another human being who also has a family and a dream and a soul and a kid and a life, you are a complete loser. So for me, am I kind to the people that I meet that I don't know, to my team? You know, I have a team and I go over and above for my team because I believe it's the right thing to do. I want my team to call their parents at night and be like, Mom, Dad, I have the best job ever. Because I've been on the other side of things where it's not been the best job ever, and that phone call sounded very different. Mom, Dad, my boss is a jerk. And I never wanted anyone to say that about me. And number 2, was I creative? So I'm a creator. It's fun for me to be a businessman, which I'm a really hardcore entrepreneur businessman, but I'm also a creative. I love storytelling, I love video, I love expressing, I love writing. And so creativity looks a lot of different ways. Creativity could literally just be, what if this is something I do, this is fun little hack for you guys. I'll go back to an email that I received 5 to 10 years ago. All right? So I received an email 7 years ago from Samantha asking how life is. I never responded. 7 years later, I'll write her back as if she wrote me yesterday. So I'll be like, hey, Samantha, life is amazing. How about you? And that has actually led to like some really meaningful relationships, both professionally and personally. That's creative. I walk around in a doctor's lab coat. I walk around like I'm a doctor in Manhattan. And I hand out like prescriptions of like smiles. Here's your prescription for a smile. People like think I'm completely crazy, right? But that's I am. That's creative. And so those are my 2 things, kindness and creativity. And so you got to really just think about what is it for you, and do that, and then be unapologetic about it. If that means that my thing today is I want to walk my dog for 3 hours in the park, and then you get home, and someone's like, yo, you're lazy. Be like, okay, that's fine. You can think whatever you want, because in my mind, I already decided what was good for me in this moment, and like none of you can take that away from me. I'm very inspired by change. So whenever I start to feel stuck, and maybe you feel stuck, or maybe I try to do something that I've never done before. I try to paint a picture. I'm a horrible drawer. I take a longer walk. I walk to work on a different street than I would have the day before. Inspiration. And the third thing that I'll say that I think is really, really important, and no one's talked about yet, but I know that everyone probably feels the same way, is you always hear like you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with, and like we're so sick of hearing that phrase, but it's 100% true. I mean, if the people in your life are toxic and negative and pessimistic and half empty, the glass is half empty, you have no shot. Because you're going to spend so much of your creative, happy energy trying to bring the people around you up. You really, and this may be the most important thing that I say to you guys today, which is please, please, please look at the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. And ask yourself, are they helping me become a better person? Are they helping me to dream bigger? Are they helping me to see things through a different lens? And if they're not, then I'm not saying, cut them off, like never talk to them again. Like it's probably your brother. It's probably your sister who sucks, And you're like, dude, my sister sucks. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to find ways to spend less time with your sister, and then find a new friend that inspires you way, way more than anybody else that you know. And that's an advantage of social media. And the last thing that I would say is, from an inspiration perspective, it's something that I'm really fascinated with. The change in my life right now is unlearning. So everything that has been told to me that is supposed to be accepted as truth, I ask myself, why? Why has that been ingrained in me? Why has that been forced down my throat? Why? Why do we need to eat breakfast in the morning? This is a simple example. Why do we need breakfast in the morning? Who stands to benefit from eating breakfast? Who stands to benefit is the egg industry, the dairy industry, the cereal industry. So you have to ask yourself, every time somebody tells you something is true, and that's how you should be living your life, and this is the truth, and you step back and be like, why? And that inspires me. Figuring out the why, and then unlearning, and then trying to take some action that feels like it's my own is inspiring. When I travel and meet friends and they say, what do you want to do today? I just say the same thing. I want to live in your world. Like, I want you to do your thing, and I want to see it. Because most of the time when we're seeking inspiration, it's an ego thing. It's a selfish thing. It's like, I need something. I need to be inspired. I. The quickest way to get rid of ego and to get rid of selfishness is to completely forget about yourself. So if I tell Belle, like, Belle, just take me into your world for the day, it's a form of escapism, which I think is fine. It's why people go to the movies and why people watch TV and why people go to sporting events. It's escapism. They want to be entertained. They don't want to think about their lives for a second. And I think that's really powerful, but real life escapism with people, and then you form bonds with these people that are lifelong bonds. Remember that time that we went and just walked around for 8 hours through Manhattan, and we both you had one ear pod in, I had the other ear pod in, and we listened to 8 hours of music back and forth, and that's what we did today? That's, I want to live in your world has been a phrase that I've used that's really been very, very valuable for me. What ends up happening when you're chasing some achievement, whether it be to be on the cover of a magazine or to be on a famous TV show or to make $1 million or whatever it is, your behavior starts to mold to what you think people that will make the decision about whether or not that happens to you want to hear or want to see you doing. And so then all of a sudden you become a slave to your own achievement. And the achievement isn't even what you thought it would be. So if it's, I want to be on the cover of People magazine, and you've worked for 5 years on a company, and the company's going well, but you're miserable inside, the achievement is pretty close. And now you all of a sudden are a slave to the achievement and the things that you have to do to get there, even though you're personally not happy. And so you just keep going because in your mind, you set some achievement, and the people that tell you how you're supposed to do it, now all of a sudden you all of a sudden have 1,000 different bosses. And I think that's the opposite, for me, that's the opposite of freedom. Freedom is living life on your terms and doing what feels right for you in the moment. And if you can turn that into a business, then congratulations, that's amazing. It's totally possible. It's hard, but it's totally possible. But don't let the achievement that you think that you want for yourself today dictate your next 10 years, because I can promise you something, at 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, 35, we're always changing and always evolving, and the only person that any of you have to answer to at the end of the day is yourself. Not your mom, not your dad. I know how hard what I'm saying right now is. I'm not naive that that's an easy thing. Not your brother, not your sister, not your husband, not your wife, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend. If you can get into a place where you are the ultimate judge and jury of your own success, then you really are in a good position to have every single day be an achievement, because even if you didn't get one step closer to being on the cover of Forbes magazine, you go to sleep that night happy, and you go to sleep that night knowing that you live your best day. And I think that is a conversation that we should be having more of, because otherwise society is all of a sudden directing your life, and you really don't want that to happen. And so I think that you just be insanely curious about everything that lights your heart and soul on fire, and be unapologetic about it, because people are going to try to hate on you. You ask too many questions. What are you doing? You should be drinking beer and kissing girls. And you're but I don't want to drink beer. I want to learn how to dance tango, and I want to write poetry. And people are going to try to put you into that box. So stay out of the boxes, stay insanely curious, and then to your point, just start something. Just start doing what you want to do. There's no reason to not start something. Who's going to give you a hard time? Your friend that's been playing World of Warcraft for the last 14 days in his underwear? Just start exactly what you want to do. Don't apologize for it. Stay curious, and don't stay into a box.
There's a question.